Hi guys, Michelle Happel here. Luxury wedding photographer located in Houston, Texas. Available for travel worldwide. But let's get straight into the video. That's enough about me. Today I'm here with some questions to ask your wedding photographer, or better yet, I should say, a wedding photographer before you hire them. You want to make sure that you mesh well. So, question number one, what do you consider your photography style to be? There are a lot of styles. I'm gonna put them down into two main categories: photojournalistic and traditional. Photojournalistic, of course, is capturing the events as they happen. Traditional is more posing the events and portraits and such. I will say that I am a combination of both. I like to catch the events as they happen, but I also pose portraits. I actually know of some photographers that will repose specific parts of the ceremony just to make sure that they get the shot that they want for that. Be it, the kiss, the exchanging of rings, things like that. I myself, and this is just a preference of mine, like to capture them as they happen because I get the emotions, the true emotions. I feel I get a better example of that. But everyone has their own preference, so make sure that you and your photographer are on the same page of that. You don't want candid shots. You don't want candid shots and your photographer only do traditional pose shots. So that's a starting off point. Question number two, do you shoot black and white, color, or both? Again, everyone has a preference. If you like mostly black and whites, but your photographer shoots mostly colors, you want to make sure that it's someone that can accommodate your request and your likes or dislikes. So, again, that's something important to go over with them. Number three, do you bring an assistant or second shooter? There is a big difference. I can't stress this enough. There is a very big difference in a second shooter and an assistant. A second shooter is another photographer that will have their camera, know how to use it. They'll capture photos from different angles. One might be with the groom getting ready while one's with the bride getting ready. Have more pictures, things like that. An assistant is just someone who carries bags, fetches equipment, but is not in charge of a camera, shall we say. So you want to make sure if you're expecting two photographers, you need to specify if it's a second shooter or are they bringing an assistant, because bringing an assistant does not mean you're going to have two photographers. Okay, number four, do you work well with videographers? I know that videography has become a very popular part of weddings. So many people want to have it captured on video now, and I understand that. However, it's good to know if you're going to have both a videographer and a photographer, that your photographer doesn't have a problem working with videographers. I have no problem working with videographers at all. I do ask now for the videographer's name and contact information so that we can meet up beforehand and go over things. And I learned this the hard way from one wedding that I shot years ago, where the videographer was actually set up on the altar behind the couple. Well, not directly behind, so the couple didn't even block him. He was kind of just off to the side, but close enough that if I wanted to get the whole shot, he was in all of them. So, and I know now that that could have been something that could have been avoided had I known about the videographer and met with him beforehand. So that's a good thing to know, to make sure that your photographer and your videographer are on the same page. Number 5, do you correct your photos? Now, most photographers, well, I say most, I don't know, do minimal correction, color correction and things like that are included. Others, if you want stray hairs removed, wrinkles or blemishes, things like that removed, you need to ask your photographer if they are capable of doing this, and also how much extra it will cost, because pretty sure that most photographers, I know I do, charge a little bit extra for that, depending on the number of photos that you want it done in. So that's something else that you want to consider and talk to your photographer about. Number 5? Number 6, do you get the high resolution digital files? A lot of photographers are against this now, but then there's also what a lot of photographers call shoot and burn, that photograph your wedding and just hand over the images. I actually do both. My wedding package, I only offer one wedding package. It's all inclusive. And I provide you with an heirloom album, but I also provide you with the images. So you can do what you want with those. To an extent, there is a release included, but you can't go selling them. Sorry. But, you know, it's a good thing to know. If you want the images and your photographer doesn't provide those, or they cost a lot extra, that's something that you would want to know beforehand, before signing a contract. Number 7, are you willing is the photographer willing to let you, the client, have input on the photos that are taken? Most photographers have a shot list, or the photos they are sure to capture at each wedding. But if there are photos that you specifically want, you need to ask your photographer if they're open to you providing additional images that you want to their shot list, and if they'll honor that request. I don't think that many photographers have an issue with that. I would hope not, but that's something that you need to iron out beforehand. Number 8, and this is a big one, especially for bigger studios that have multiple photographers. Are you the actual photographer who will be shooting my wedding, or will it be someone else? This is a big thing, because you spend all day with your photographer on one of the most important days of your life. You want to make sure that it's somebody that you know, that you trust, that you get along well with. So you don't want to have your engagement session and your pre-consultation and everything with one photographer, and then go and have someone else shoot your wedding. You don't know. You're not going to have the rapport with them, shall I say. So this is a biggie. That is a biggie. Number 9. Are you familiar with my ceremony and reception sites? Have they been to your venues before? If so, then they know the best places to shoot from. They know the lighting conditions, things like that. If they're not familiar with your venue, ask if they are open to doing a pre-ceremony visit to the venue. Ask if they have a problem going and visiting the venue before the day of the wedding. You want to make sure that they know the ins and outs of that venue, where they need to be to get the best photographs. That's a biggie too. I always do a visit to the venue beforehand, so I know where I can be and things like that. And a lot of times it's best to, if it's a church, if you can meet with the people in charge of the church to go over the rules or the rules of the venue, it's a lot easier for the photographer, I think, at least in my experience. That I love doing pre-wedding walkthroughs for that specific reason. Okay, number 10, last one for my top 10. What comes in my wedding photography package? You want it pretty much down to a T. You want to know every last thing that's included in that package. Like me, some of us charge a flat fee and you get this. Some photographers charge specifically per hour, and everything else is separate. Some photographers shoot and just give you I say DVD, USB, however they provide it, of images. So I'm dating myself with the DVD thing. You want to know exactly what you get for your money. And that's a big thing. You don't want to be surprised thinking that you get products included, and then all you actually paid for was the hours of their service. So these are all good tips. Now, no matter all the questions you ask, you still want to make sure, as I said earlier, that you have a good rapport with your photographer. So I suggest, after meeting with them, have your engagement session with them. Make sure it's someone that you can get along with. It's better to have a friend, not necessarily a friend, but someone that's fun, that you're not stressing over there the day of your wedding, than to have someone that you're worried about getting in an argument with. That's scary. I've never gotten in an argument with one of my brides, but I've heard it happens. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope some of these questions help you. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me at Michelle at michellehappel.com. And I will be happy to answer them. Thanks. Bye.